Support for information to help identify and arrest a serial cat killer is now up to $46,000 thanks to more donations from those of you in the public. You can see this new Pasado Safe Haven poster behind me for the reward. And for the first time tonight, we're hearing from the veterinarian who has been examining the mutilated bodies of these cats on what she's learned. Animals have always been her passion, and after a tour of duty in the U.S. Air Force, Vicky Smith became a veterinarian.
I think that's midnight.
Now, Dr. Vicky Smith performs a necropsy on each of the mutilated cats.
Most of the remains we've gotten have not been fresh, and a lot of them have been not intact.
Her examinations show the mutilations are similar, with the suspect cutting the cats with surgical precision from groin to sternum. 3 of them, including Ollie, who you see here, had their spine or parts of their spine removed.
It takes some effort. Like, it's not an easily reached piece of tissue, and so someone has to be fairly determined and have some pretty sharp instruments to do that.
The necropsy can take anywhere from 2 to 6 hours and include swabs for DNA, photos, and measurements of the cuts.
We do a head-to-toe evaluation, and then we do what's called skin reflections, because animals don't show bruising on the skin very often, and so we basically make an incision and peel it back and look under the skin for bruising, and often we see a lot of injuries there that you can't tell from the surface.
That's how she's found some of the trauma to the neck and spine. The killer is not just cutting the cats open. Some have been brutally beaten.
You know, I've called him a sick freak. I've called him a creep. I stand by my assessment, and you know, there's some mental illness here. There's a lot of anger here, and whoever's doing this, I see why you guys are all worried that they're going to go to humans next.
It's very heartbreaking because these animals suffered greatly prior to death.
Thurston County Officer Erica Johnson is an animal cruelty investigator. She's been working these cases since the first cat was found last year.
The suspect appears to be motivated by anger, control. There's maybe a little bit of interest here to see how everything works, but they're also putting these animals out on display for everybody else to find. So I think it's also possibly wanting to see a reaction.
That's how Ollie was found, but she fought back, and Officer Johnson sent her claws to the State Patrol Crime Lab to be tested for human DNA. And while that could help identify the killer once the results are in, investigators are hoping tips from the public lead to an arrest.
There's somebody out there that's going to see something, and we need to know about that. The tips that we're looking for are more concrete tips, not necessarily a hunch, things like that. If you've actually seen something or somebody has been talking about this, let us know.
No, the biggest thing is just have people keep their cats indoors at night, because we know he's grabbing them, you know, after it's dark.
Dr. Vicky Smith is now in the Army Reserves, traveling the world helping animals. And she brings that same sense of dedication to each necropsy she performs, hoping it gives prosecutors the evidence they need to put this suspect away.
It's absolutely horrific. That someone would deliberately do this to cats is just beyond my capacity to understand.
So there's no indication